go red, but I was going to do like a, well, I was going to do a black edge line and shadow. That can be white with a, I don't like blue and red together, that's the trouble.
Green?
But red is very garagey, isn't it? So that could be white. What colour would do that?
Black?
It's tying it in, yeah, but I'm trying to think unless I did that in a black outline colour, white shadow around it. Okay, this is a little shed sign we're doing for someone. What we're going to do now is, obviously not quite sure on colours yet, the garage we're doing at the moment is just going to be in red. We're not too clearly bothered about the sharpness of the letters because we're going to put an edge line and a shadow around it when it's done, and we'll make the rest up as we go along. Well, obviously using one shot. Years ago we used to use keeps, but they went out of business, so one shot's sort of the next thing. First job of the day is always the slow one to get back into. Of an old garage look sign we're doing on this one, so I went to look a little bit old. A thick and thin. So you do have an edge line and a shadow to do, so we're not too bothered about the sharpness of the letters at the moment. Also we just use tape top and bottom just to make it easy really. Main thing here is just to make your paint cover, and obviously keep an eye on what you're writing, because sometimes when you mark out rough and your spacings are not correct, you might end up actually overlapping your letters. So you might be doing an R over the top of an A, which is quite common. It's only rough marking out. And then someone distracts you, offers you a cup of tea or something, and then you go back and you actually write the letter that's marked out. And then you find you've made a mistake. If you make a drawing, make sure your drawing's spelt correctly, otherwise you're going to make the mistake. Obviously when you are sign writing and you are going to put a edge line or a shadow around it, then obviously you do need to leave bigger spacings to allow for that. But the main thing is to make sure your paint covers, and when you've done a letter and you've already created a letter that's the same, then you need to look to make sure they're pretty similar. Certainly the negative space between the A's is very similar, because that's what's going to stand out. move the camera along a bit more now. Be back on now. Obviously when we put tape on, I'm just using 3M's lining tape, but sellotape used to make a 1/4 inch tape, and that was perfect, so it was very thin and it didn't leave you much of an edge. But obviously the thing we have now is just 3M's lining tape, so that has to do the job. But obviously when we are taping, obviously we don't tape over the top of any rounds, because as we know a round should sit above and below the line, because it's not like a solid letter at the top where we have a block, so we need to give the appearance that all the letters are the same size when in actual fact they're not. And watch out the spacings. Quite a short head lettering brush I've got here, which is better suited to one stroke lettering. But as I say, I've mentioned earlier before in other videos that sign writing brushes aren't as easy to get nowadays as your lining brushes, purely because they're not made very well. The people that make them now don't sort of know what they're making them for, so once again we've already created a G, so we need to make sure that it looks like the one we've already done. As I say, we are edge lining and putting a shadow around, whether it be a drop shadow or I haven't made up my mind yet. Obviously if there's any discrepancies then we can obviously adjust. When we finish off the rest. Now the E we do, and then we get along, and then we can work out where we're going to put our other piece of tape down. Let's put that out of the way. Let me show you. Yeah. Space. There we go. Now when you're lettering, there is a tip an old sign writer taught me when you looked at his work. Instead of going, whether it's lazy or cheap, but when you go straight down, instead of going straight down and your lines are looking either a little bit to the right or leaning a bit to the left, if you run a very slight sort of bow to it, then you get a nice sharper corner and it just looks a little bit cleaner, but it is only very slight. So now we've done our down, and then we can establish where we're going to want to put our piece now. For our E, a little bit bigger than that. as I say, been a bit lazy on this sign because it is just a bit of a freehand sort of. We're not following any necessarily correct style of lettering off a letterhead or anything, so it gives us a bit of a open free rein.